right?
Yeah, right now. That's about to be expanded.
Okay, yeah. So hopefully we'll be able to look like back, for the day, for the
Yep.
week, for the.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we do the historical trends all the time.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful. And I was thinking of something. Maybe if we do a meeting, just like it doesn't necessarily have to be all of the board, but if you do a YouTube video and record the Zoom meeting,
Yep.
and you can share screen and you can click on everything and pull the charts and then explain it all in a video, and then Gabriel can post it to our
Absolutely.
website and email it out to all of our stakeholders. I think that would be the most beneficial way of getting the data out to the community.
Sure.
You could do it like maybe every week, every 2 weeks, every month, whatever we decide or you decide is the most helpful. But I think maybe we can start every week for now, and then I don't know, just YouTube.
Yeah, we actually do. We started this little project probably about 9 months ago. We just every Thursday at 8 o'clock in the morning we have what's called the Data Geek meeting, and it's just a kind of an open forum for the different communities we work with to go through different data events, and certainly I want to bring you guys into that, and then what we can also record those sessions as well as training videos and make them available.
Yes.
Perfect.
The
I was going to say
most
exactly what
important measure of success is you guys using this data in a constructive way. That's the only measure of success I consider to be important here.
Well, we gotta be able to see it, and we gotta get it out to the people.
Yep.
But we'll work on that. Sounds good.
Awesome.
Thank you, Jason. David Balin?
Hey, good evening. So, Don, let's roll back a little bit. First off, it hasn't really been 9 months. We've been working on this for years. So let's be straight about that. We're tired. But I'm going off of what Craig was saying. So am I under the understanding that we're not receiving all the up-to-date information at this time, and we're kind of holding back, just trying to disseminate how or what we're going to be getting? Or I could be clarified on that, please.
No, again, all of the data that's gone through the validation processes for real time are now available. And we just keep migrating more and more systems as that process gets done. And all of the data is still historically there. So once we get the final, like I said, once this company, Tricorntech, signs off on their gas chromatographs, was installed at the fire station, all of the data that's been collected to date is then made available to the community. And going forward, it's all available, period. I mean, the whole point is we don't want to install systems and then have bad data. There's a trial period where you do.
But I think the community would understand a trial period if they were able to come along on the journey as we are trying, because we can see where there's success and failure during the trial periods. So I think that's where a lot of people are kind of going, hey, we want to still be part of this. Let us come along on the journey. We want to see what we're seeing. Because let me tell you something, there's a lot of people that are in this community that are quite brilliant, that would probably give you the feedback that you're needing to move forward. I mean, you know as well as I do, if you weren't getting the integral part of the Port Ranch Neighborhood Council, we wouldn't be sitting here talking today. So, I mean, I think we really need to be part of this journey, so we need to open it up more, Don.
Well, that's why I want to find a way to get more frequent meetings set up with you guys. I mean,
I think that goes to where Jason's saying you could be the YouTube Don.
Oh God,
you would like it. No, you'd be hysterical.
People
But
always
I want
my ugly
also
face too often, man. I'd have to wear a disguise or something. I mean, but
I want to go on and tell the Doctor, one of the things you are alluding to, are these chemicals, what is the harm? All the chemicals, just so you know, the chemicals that this community has faced, we've been asking for the chemicals that came out of SS-25 for the longest time. So just so you can be perfectly straight, the chemicals that this community has faced were extremely harmful. I know you were asking because you didn't understand, but the chemicals that came out, they were extremely harmful, and we will know in the years to come. So don't fool yourself. We were affected by the chemicals that came out of the well. To what extent, we won't know, but time will tell. Thank you.
I understand that. That's what I was driving at. I've been here for too long in PRNC.
Yes.
And up till now, we don't know what harm do we get. We don't know any symptom. And I read about this air monitoring and so on quite a while ago. And I said, to what end? Until I hear today that there is a study. And then now you tell me the study has nothing to do with it. There was a time in my house that gas just smelled like crazy. When I go to my update in my house, the gas just smell. I have to call. I called twice. They finally come and don't know what they did. They said the gas doesn't smell anymore. I'm not far from Aliso, Kenya, and we know what we took in. There was a day we had a meeting, full rent thing, when the gas company came to talk to us. The church opposite Shepherd on the Hills, the Korea Church, there used to be Korea, some university, they call it then. Nobody could stay. It was so terrible. But we inject all this into our system. That's why I was asking. I was not asking to trivialize it, or I'm trying to see if there is anything that they set to do about it. And also, if your meeting is every Thursday to brief us, understanding that your data cannot be reproduced, it's a one-time thing, it becomes absolute if we can't reproduce it. So it's good that the meeting become more frequent, like you said. So I will be very glad to attend your meetings if I know when you are holding these meetings.
We would, again, I got to reiterate, we want public participation. That is critical to this. And another rather interesting thing, Dr. Bright, with the technologies we're using, you can actually go back and check the raw data to see if there are other gases present that we, for example, may not have even known existed, were present in the atmosphere when the measurements were taken. And because we store all that data, it's a treasure trove of information. One of the things that we actually found about 3 years ago with the fence line systems that will be coming into play with you, where you are, is that there's a gas called furfural that's actually associated with wildfires.
Wow.
And the furfural is actually quite toxic. We didn't know that we didn't know that the equipment could sense it when we installed it at the location, but once we found it, we went back to all the historical data and pulled that chemical back out of all the historical data. So this is a real treasure trove of information for your community. And like I said, what I'm hearing tonight is the thing I really want to do is get you guys involved. To understand the technologies, understand the data, be a part in understanding what we're looking at. The community component is critical because you guys have insights that the people who operate the equipment aren't seeing. And without that information, it just loses a lot of value. So it's getting participation is the most important thing we can do.
Thank you. I got 3 more attendees, and then we got to go on. Patty, floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe to help, if I'm not misunderstanding what you're saying, Doctor, and to add on to what David just said, back in late 2015, early 2016, when Don first set up the fence line, it became very valuable to us because many of us were getting symptoms, the nosebleeds. I was coughing like crazy, and I would look at his site and go, oh my God, there's a lot of methane. And it actually made me sick. I have chronic bronchitis now, and other people have had cancer. My husband has cancer. So many things, but the methane wasn't causing things like the cancer. And as David said, we've been asking for this list since 2016 at Town Hall with DPH, and they were saying, oh, we can't get it, or we would like to have it. And when I got on the CAG, that was one of the things that we said from our very first meeting with DPH. We need to have that list. You need to subpoena that list. And we've been turned down for that subpoena. And why? We don't know, but it seems like without that subpoena, without getting from the horse's mouth what chemicals we were exposed to, we might know about A, B, chemical C, chemical D. There might be a chemical E that's reacting with chemical A. And I'm sure you've taken a lot of chemistry like me and some other people in this community. There's reactions that make chemical A and chemical E worse than just being exposed to either one of those. And that's what we're concerned about. And that's why we've been pushing for this chemical list. That's why this system is a godsend, because it's adding BTEX. And the only reason we're getting that is because of that consent decree that got us the health study, which is starting like 8 years too late, getting us this BTEX system, which we should have been given at the very beginning. We previously, besides his excellent fence line that was so valuable to us, we got there was a criminal case against SoCal Gas, and they were required to install these monitors that he's using for 2 of the monitors, for the BTEX monitors. And those are often offline. In fact, they were actually set to private at times when there's been leaking. And it's very, very, it's very troubling that often we get these symptoms from the methane and we can't find out. Now we're finding out that so many people in this community have gotten cancer. Those of us who've been involved with the health study, getting that going, we keep getting emails and messages on Facebook from people who they just found out that they've been diagnosed with multiple myeloma, or their family member has lymphoma, like my husband does. That there's so many cases of cancer going on in this neighborhood. We're a cancer cluster, and we need to have this information. And hopefully, UCLA will get this information from Don to help them, because we're starting off with no information from 2015 in terms of BTEX. And that's because of people like DPH, who they're toxicologists who wouldn't test us. And I'm sorry if I sound mad, but it really is infuriating that and sad that our community has been treated this way. And so thank God for Don, for Dr. Nardella, and all our other heroes in this neighborhood who've been helping us so much. Thank you.
Well, and thank you for that. We've already been in contact with UCLA, the health study people. They've reached out to us. I mean, we worked together during the original blowout. Any information they need, we're going to give them, flat out. I mean, that goes without saying. You will never see these systems go offline and be hidden. You own this data. It is yours. You have first right of access. That's all there is to it.
Fantastic.
So these systems, there won't be whatsoever as far as getting the stuff. We'll be absolutely upfront, happy to send you all the raw data, and happily put ourselves out to be checked and challenged.
I would love to hear about this other chemical too, that this is the first I'm hearing about it.
Yeah, furfural, I mean, and that happened right in the middle of the wildfires. We were actually at a site in California in 2018, and this gas showed up in the data, and it's like, what is it? And we realized it's furfural, which, again, is quite harmful.
Yeah.
And there's really no other way of detecting it in real time except for the types of technologies that we're installing at Porter Ranch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to John and Michelle Hales. Floor is yours.
Thank you.
Are you there? Sorry. John?
There.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yesterday, I met a young lady whose family bought a house up in Porter Ranch a year and a half ago. So obviously, knowing what we know, I started asking her questions. And you know what? She knows very little or nothing about all that activity. So once I realized that, I started to ask her, didn't the real estate people go through long, detailed? And she said, no. So there is not only that layer, which is an additional layer to the people that were there and moved out for health reasons, but those people who came in and bought those homes now don't have a clue what's going on. But I guess what I'm hearing is, I worked at Phillips Medical for 27 years in radiology, and what I'm hearing is something in medical that they just say, you're not answering the question. Thank you.
Thank you, John.